Hey, if you want to discover one of, if not the single biggest reason why people don't buy, and most importantly, how you can overcome that reason to go ahead and make more sales, create more progress in your business, and ultimately make more money, stick around and watch today's video through until the very end, as I'm about to share with you that number one thing that keeps people from buying and exactly how you can go ahead and overcome it. With that said, if this is your first video, my name is Misha Wilson, and over the course of the last few years, I've now done over $25 million in total sales online. And I've used this tactic and this strategy that I'm going to share in this video literally the entire time to make those sales. Now, as always, if you get value out of today's video, don't forget to go ahead and let me know in the comments section below what your biggest takeaway is. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button so that you're notified when I do more videos just like this. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome to the Misha Wilson Show, where we show you how to create massive success online so you can enjoy the lifestyle of your wildest dreams. All right, so what I want to talk about here today is one of, if not the biggest reasons why people don't buy the thing that you are going ahead and selling. All right, really in my mind, there are two main reasons why people don't buy something in the context of the online world, right? And I'll give you the first one real quick, and then I'll talk about the second one, which we're gonna talk about here today. So the first one is generally people tend to believe that they might not be able to do it themselves. Right? So the first thing to be very cognizant of whenever you're selling something is to show people and demonstrate to people that they can do this. All right. So show them the simple way to do it. Show them the way to do it without 78 steps. Show them the way to do it without a ton of tech involved, etc., which will naturally create more of a feeling inside of your prospect that yes, I can do this. Yes, I can accomplish this. Right? So just in, 12 seconds or whatever that was, that's the number one thing to focus on, or one of the number one things to focus on, and really kind of how to overcome it in order to get your prospect in the state of believing that they can actually accomplish the result that they want to accomplish with your service. Now, the second thing, once you've done that, and this is what I want to talk about here today. And honestly, these two things are pretty much on the same level when it comes to reasons why people don't buy. In my mind, the second most important thing is the perceived risk within your prospect's mind in making the buying decision. All right, this is especially true when you start selling more expensive programs. So if you're selling a $1 course or a $7 course, something like that, right, there isn't that much risk. And so therefore, this is going to be, less of an issue. But as you start to get up to sell $2,000 courses, $10,000 courses, $20,000 courses, $50,000 courses, etc., this can start to come up. Now, there are some certain instances where you can actually sell higher ticket courses and people feel less risk, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But for now, just understand the principle. All right, so the big thing is, look, people don't necessarily want to part with their money, and they're conditioned for, their entire lives to constantly think through making a decision. Let me sleep on it, right? Let me think about it. When the salesperson comes and tries to sell something, let me talk to my spouse. There's 1,001 different things that people say in order to not make the decision right then. And the reason why they don't make the decision right then is very simply because they feel like the decision is a risky decision. All right. So if that risk wasn't there, if they were going to make the decision anyway and they were totally sold on it and they didn't see any risk, there would be no reason to wait. And so with that said, in order to go ahead and overcome risk, there's really two primary strategies that I use in our business and a few different ways to use them. So the first is to flip the context of the risk and to talk about what's actually more risky. All right, so this is very kind of closely related to if someone says the product is too expensive, you can talk about how expensive it is without the product, right? Same thing with risk. If someone says it's too risky for me to make this buying decision, you can talk about how risky it is for them to not make this buying decision. So if you're selling a course that shows them the 10 steps to get high quality traffic, etc., right? Or the 10 steps to generate leads, the 10 steps to build a sales funnel, and it feels too risky for them, You can talk about how risky it is for them to try to build a sales funnel to get traffic, to generate leads, whatever it might be, without your course. All right. You can talk about the 58 different things that they're going to need to do in order to be successful, in building a funnel, in getting traffic, in generating leads, etc. You can talk about all the different things that could go wrong and how those things that could go wrong could cost them a whole lot of money. And so essentially in their mind right now, the risk is all about buying your product. God, it costs $2,000 for the product. That sounds risky. If you can create the risk over here of it's actually more risky to do this thing without the product, you immediately go ahead and at least balance the scales. If not, ideally, make it much, 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 much more risky for them to try to do it without your product. All right, so that's the first kind of quick, dirty, easy way to essentially kind of start to reverse the risk. Now, secondly, it's guarantees. All right, so there are a ton of different guarantees. I'll talk about a couple of my favorite and just kind of break down why they work so well. All right, so obviously there's always, the 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. So buy this thing today, try it for a full 30 days. If you don't absolutely love this, we'll give you your money back, totally risk-free. You can try it for 30 days. If you don't love it, you can have your money back. Right? So very simply, just in saying that, you lower their risk, you lower the ability for them to, essentially lose money based on the fact that if they don't love it, they can ask for their money back. So that will immediately lower the risk. Now, on top of that, you can also take it one step further. We do this with a lot of our offers, and that is risk reversal. All right. So what we'll say in our offers is we will say, hey, buy this program. Go through this program for a full 30 days. And usually with this type of offer, we'll have action steps that they need to take, right? Not excessive action steps, like take these 98 action steps every single day for a year, which I've seen some marketers do. But just very simply as an example, we have one main course. It's 15 modules long. And we say, hey, buy this program, go through all 15 modules and take the one action step that I tell you to take at the end of every module. And if after doing that, you go through the program, you take the action steps that we recommend, if you aren't happy and if you don't love this, let us know. We will refund your money and we will send you $500 for wasting your time. The risk is now on my shoulders. It's completely off of their shoulders. They have the ability to test the product, to go through the system, to go ahead and see everything they want to see because they're curious about the product, while the risk is firmly on my shoulders. All right. Now, the question obviously is, well, how does that work for you, Misha? Right? Well, that program, that product that people go through, if they go through all 15 modules and if they take action on those 15 modules, we have designed it in a very specific way where firstly, they're going to love the content, right? So we know our market, we know what our market wants, we know what our market's looking for, and the product gives our market exactly what they want. And then secondly, if they actually execute upon the action steps, they will actually be getting results. They will have launched their business. They will be generating leads and they will potentially be even generating sales. All right. So once you get someone to a point where they launch their business, they're generating leads, they're maybe even generating sales, the chance of that person saying, hey, God, I'm launched, I'm making sales, but I'm not happy with this thing is very, very, very low. All right. So what will happen invariably is we will have a few people a year that will buy, they'll go through the entire thing, they'll take the action steps, and for one reason or another, they won't be happy. We will refund their money, right? And we will send them the $500 for wasting their time. But the increase in overall sales, right? We might lose $2,000 as a company, for 4 people with a $500 over the course of a year, but we might make $200,000 in additional product sales based on the fact that we have that risk reversal, we have that guarantee, and we have that guarantee in a very specific way that firstly increases sales, secondly increases customer satisfaction, secondly increases customer action and customer results, and of course, at the end of the day, makes us a whole lot more money. All right. So remember, one of the biggest things that people are, going to have in the forefront or the back of their mind when they're making a buying decision is the perceived risk. And if you can lower that perceived risk by firstly having a rock solid guarantee, like I just talked about, and then secondly, flipping the risk equation and making it more risky for them to not buy your product than to buy your product, you will ultimately make more sales, make more money, and grow a much more powerful business. With that said, as always, if you got value out of today's episode, let me know what your biggest takeaway is in the comments section below. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button so that you're notified when I do more videos just like this.